all right. We got the devil behind us. That's right. One more game, and we're done with the fucking Heat for another year. Fuck them.
They got a young team. They'll be around for a while.
Welcome to CrackBacks. We're back. You can see the devil is behind me. We got the NBA Finals. One more game tonight. They are young. You're right. But their best player is not. Jimmy's 31. Hero, nice offensive player. He's garbage on the defensive end. Duncan Robinson's the same thing. You were joking. You almost, and I'm blaming you, Getz, almost elevated Bam Adebayo to superstar status.
Adebayo, son. How do you think they got to the finals?
The gods had to step in and mess his shoulder up in game 2 to make sure that the Lake Show taking the Heat out. Enrique, you're very quiet down there, man.
That's whack, yo.
No,
man.
You know I've been saying that the entire playoff bubble. This is all an anomaly. In a normal scenario, the Heat wouldn't even make it out of the East. I said before the bubble started that we're going to see a whole bunch of role players hit shots that they've never hit before, then come in Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero's
That's all I got to say.
On one side of the court.
Yeah, but it's a lot different in the playoffs playing at Milwaukee when the crowd's yelling at you to hit all those shots than it is in a practice atmosphere in the NBA bubble.
I can't let you come with all that Lake Show bullshit like you're rooting for LeBron now. I just can't do it. It goes against everything.
I'm not rooting for LeBron. You didn't hear me say anything about LeBron.
But Lake Show this, Lake Show that.
Because the Heat are playing my second favorite team in the NBA right now. I love the Knicks and anybody playing Miami. So fuck them. For one more game, I am a Laker fan.
And even with that, you have everybody saying, like, Anthony Davis is shooting like 66% from the floor, 55% from three, blocking every shot under the sun. But LeBron's still MVP of the finals somehow.
There are a few people that think that's going to run AD out of Los Angeles, that you outplay somebody and you still don't get the accolades because you're on the team with LeBron.
Why would he leave?
He's going to have a ring, go anywhere he wants.
He's on the Lakers now, and he's going to win a championship.
That's exactly why he can leave.
This is the last year of the window anyways. They're not going to win next year. LeBron's going to be a year older. They're actually going to have to play on the road. Clay and Steph come back. I mean, the West is only going to get harder next year.
What did he ever win when he was the best player on the team?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Granted, he was in New Orleans, and the second best player on the team. As much as we all love J. Rue the Damager, Drew Holiday is not a second best player on a championship team.
Put some respect on his name.
I love the Damager. Good dude too, man. From all accounts, supposed to be a really good guy.
But how often does the best player on the team win the Finals MVP? Sometimes you got the role player or the second best player just outplaying him.
Well,
right now in the Finals, AD's the best player.
Most of the time, it's the star, though. I mean, the Iguodala's winning it are the anomalies. It's usually Shaq. Shaq won it 3 times.
Kawhi.
MJ won it 6 times.
They wouldn't be there without LeBron.
No, absolutely. No one's saying that. But Guess was saying, why would he leave? LeBron's 37. You already got a ring in your pocket, so the stress of having to get a ring is off of you. You can go absolutely anywhere you want because you're AD and you're going to get paid the max wherever you go. I can see him leaving LA. That window is closing. LeBron's got 2 years left.
Where is he going to go?
Probably back east, but not. I'm not saying New York. It's not going to happen now in New York.
Oh,
but he'll probably go back if he wants to make a run at rings. It's back east, but it's with what team and who can make a run at him? Do you send, if you're the Boston Celtics, do you send Jaylen Brown, Smart, and another piece back for him?
But
outside of the East.
Wait. I thought you were saying he would leave as a free agent. There's zero chance they trade him.
No. If he leaves, it's a sign and trade. It's one of those, hey, I'm getting the fuck out of here, and the Lakers are like, listen, we got to get something for you. So that's how the same way that he got Jimmy Butler. He wasn't signed on; he was traded.
Where is it coming from? Why would he leave LA?
They're saying that the teams have been together for on. This is all up on Twitter. I mean, obviously, I'm not up there myself walking around, but.
So you're saying he's going to the Heat for Bam Adebayo? Is that what you're saying?
The fucked up thing about that is, dude, you said that to a Heat fan, they'd argue with you.
Son?
They argue with you. They'd be like, yo, Adebayo's better than AD. No.
Yo, the guy had a fucking insane game the other night. He's shooting threes. He's catching alley-oops, dunking shit.
I'll tell you this right now. The second LeBron contract is over, AD's gone too. The LeBron there is masking the fact that that's a bad organization. Pelinka's a bad GM. Players, when they go there, do not get better. LeBron getting there is masking all the problems the organization has. That when he leaves, will come right back.
I don't think.
So they just said Mike Evans is going to play and Godwin's out.
I know Godwin's out. Yes.
All right.
But Mike Evans is official.
Mike Evans is playing, and Fournette.
Hopefully
Fournette was.
wow. Hopefully he stays the whole game. Julio played on fucking Monday night, did nothing, left in the second quarter, and I lost my fantasy matchup by 4 points.
Well, I'm not going to play Scotty Miller then. So, thank you.
If Evans is playing, you got to play Evans.
I just want to say one thing: that if you dig into crates, there are people on the CrackBacks program that even as the Heat were having a good regular season before the shutdown, there were people on this program that said once they get into real games in the playoffs, that Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and all these other dudes aren't going to be able to defend. And even though they're scoring 100 points versus the Lakers fucking go off because the Heat can't defend them.
And they're playing the zone trying to mask those guys.
They're just too
when they have
They make Kyle Kuzma look like a good player.
Well, Kuzma. Now let's talk about Kuzma for a second. This is the game within the game. Kuzma has balled a little bit, and you know why Kuzma's balling? Kuzma balls anytime he's on the court, the same time with Tyler Hero. Why? Because Tyler Hero's smashing his old chick. So he was with Katya Elise Henry, who is an Instagram model, Instagram hoe, whatever you want to call him.
Put up some pictures in post.
She'll probably sue us if I did that.
She's a
Katya.
Energy. But she was dating Kyle Kuzma. She is no longer dating Kyle Kuzma. She's now with a guy who's not even old enough to go to a bar or drink. Tyler Hero's still 20, so this is a little
I don't think that matters to her.
Absolutely not. Especially in the bubble, they're getting whatever they want. But Kyle Kuzma has balled and has given your boy Hero some side eye going on the court. The Lakers, one more game, baby. Lake Show, one more game.
That's unwatchable finals. That's the first finals since 2007 that I haven't watched a single second of. Only the highlights on ESPN.
I turned it off when they looked at it. Once I figured out they were going to win Game 3, I turned it off. But I watched every second back-to-back of all of them. I hate the Heat so much because I can't wait till they're over. And this guy, when's he ever going to retire? I mean, fuck, dude. How old is this man?
Why would he retire? He's winning championships. He's taking new teams to the finals every couple of years.
So you're saying that he can't relax and enjoy life as a normal person?
But I think we should.
You don't think he's enjoying this?
I mean, how much more money can he get? He has how many rings do you have with the Lakers? I don't know. He's got 3 rings.
It's not about money. It's about revenge at this point because LeBron dissed him. LeBron left him at the altar, and then he created a whole new entire team, and they're back in the finals.
Oh, and a side note of the Heat. Side note of the Heat. Everyone's talking about how great of a coach that Spoelstra is, and I'll give him a little bit of credit. He is better than I initially gave him credit for because you had LeBron and all of them. But he's only won, and the benchmark of really an NBA coach is 50-win seasons. If you win 50 games in a year, you're really doing something. Spoelstra's been the coach of the Heat for over a decade now. You know how many times he's won 50 games? Anybody?
I don't think he's won 50 since LeBron left.
He's won 4 times. And how many times? Who was on the team the 4 times he won 50 games?
LeBron, yeah. He hasn't won 50 since LeBron left.
Through there.
Well,
granted,
this year they didn't play 80 games this year.
No, they weren't even on pace to win 50, though.
He's had 10, 12 other seasons to get to 50. He's only gotten to 4. And this one, you talk about asterisk seasons and all that. 99, when the Spurs won a series, has an asterisk on it. This one's got to have an asterisk, too. It's completely different shooting in a gym with nobody there. The freaking fake pictures on the side.
One team doesn't have an advantage over the other.
But one team lost an advantage. The Lakers lost an advantage. Milwaukee lost an advantage. All the teams.
The
Heat
Celtics.
was a 5 seed. The Heat was a 5 seed. They didn't have home court at all. So all those teams that they beat before now lost an advantage.
So we've talked about this before. It's different for a young Heat team to beat the Celtics in a fucking conference room gym than it is for them to go into Boston and beat the Celtics on the road.
They would not go into TD Garden and hit that many shots. They would not. I don't believe it.
So they're better than them on a neutral playing field.
That's the point of having home court advantage. It's not neutral.
Do you discount every Super Bowl champion because they didn't get to play the game away? It's a neutral site. They're level playing fields. Everybody has the same advantage.
You can't compare football, though. It's one game where there's multiple games.
It's one game. That's one thing. And the other 3, if you were a wild card, you would have played 3 other playoff games. you did have home court one way or the other. If New England doesn't have home field all those years, Patriots maybe don't get to all those Super Bowls. It's not as easy on the road or in a neutral site. The team that would have had the home court advantage lost an advantage. Yes, they're playing on an even playing field.
Absolutely.
They're doing the same shit. But a team that would have had home court. Give you a perfect example. We talk about football. Who is it in New Orleans? Did Green Bay play New Orleans a couple of weeks ago? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When they were in New Orleans, Aaron Rodgers, he's the king of the hard count, got them to jump 2 or 3 times in their own building. If there's fans in the stands, it's a silent count. They're watching the ball. No, he's not getting any false starts on the road. So it is different without a crowd in there. The other thing is running up and down. You're from New Jersey. You're an Eagles guy. You're a Yankee guy. I'm from New York as well. Running down the court after you miss a shot, your boy Tyler Hero airballed a 3 in the fourth quarter of the other game. Everybody,
From what I hear,
all of that is completely different on a neutral court. The Heat with their super young team, this was the perfect year for them to make a run. Finally, the gods intervened and late show.
And the other thing is that we need to account. Pressure bust pipes, man. You're playing with less pressure, playing in a bubble atmosphere with no fans, where you already had 3 months off, where some people who are already in rhythm were taking off rhythm.
So what you're saying is a team like Milwaukee needs to have home court advantage in order to win.
I don't think Milwaukee could win
Milwaukee.
home court advantage.
No one's saying Milwaukee.
When you go and just play ball in a regular gym against somebody, it's a level playing field. You versus him. The better person is going to be the better person. So what you're saying is, if Miami's a better team than Milwaukee when they play on neutral sites, but if they go into Milwaukee, they can't win.
No, we said Boston specifically. I think they could beat Milwaukee regardless because of the matchup. I'm talking specifically against Boston. They cannot go into TD Garden hit as many shots as they hit because that's why they beat Boston. They just unconsciously hit
shots. But they were better than Boston. They outplayed Boston. They had better chemistry. They played better. So what you're saying is that Boston needs home court advantage in order to win.
It helps.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're better. It doesn't mean that goes to show that you're already an inferior team, that you need home court in order to advance. That's what you're saying.
I mean, agree to disagree, but I think
we're
it's completely different with
what we're saying is that it's less pressure on a team that doesn't know any better because they've got a couple rookies on there and guys that have never done anything before. The only player on the Heat that's ever played in the NBA Finals is Andre Iguodala. So for a young team that's never done anything before, they don't know any better. Not having the dude. Remember, there was a couple of years ago the Russell Westbrook almost got into a fight with a guy in Philly because the guy's up, on his tiptoes with double middle fingers in his face, screaming at him. Would that shit not happen? If that happened to Tyler Hero, the next jump shot's not as smooth.
Oh, hell no.
So there is a difference with no fans there. There is a difference in pressure, and there's a difference in the shit you have to deal with without fans there. Reggie Miller wouldn't have had it any other way. If Spike wasn't on the side, Reggie doesn't score those 8 points in 16 seconds. As soon as he hit that last 3, what did he do? He looked right to freaking Reggie and did like this. So having the stands in there raises your adrenaline. Would you have rather played in an empty stadium?
I played in empty stadiums, and I've also played in hostile stadiums, which I loved it. It was fun.
You see that, and that's what we're saying is you're a guy that raised yourself to another level when you had people pissing you off or yelling at you or whichever, and some people don't. We removed that element from the NBA playoffs this year. They didn't have to deal with any of that. All we're saying is that it's an easier route when you're playing in a conference room or a ballroom or whatever the fuck they were where they rolled in these rims than you are if you have to go into Boston Garden or whatever the hell it's called now. Who they beat in the second round?
Milwaukee.
Second round.
And this all say to you, Sage. If you are correct about everything you're saying, Miami being the better team, number one, Tyler Hero better be starting next year, and that better be a 50-win team next year. If what you're saying is correct, then I'm wrong about this whole thing being an anomaly. Because I firmly believe they got unconsciously hot for 20 games, which their offensive efficiency during the playoffs was almost as good as the 2018 Warriors. They are not that good. And it's a 20-game run. Overall, next season, they're going to come back down to earth and be a 45, 48-win team. If I'm wrong, they're going to be over 50 wins. But he's not the centerpiece of the team.
No one can get better.
So you think he's going to be a centerpiece of a championship team?
He's going to be a centerpiece, but you guys are acting like this kid. I don't know. For some reason, you guys are talking like this kid can't hit shots unless it's in a neutral gym.
Yeah,
I'm never going to say anything good about a Heat player. You should know that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And we're going to find out next year. Because this kid couldn't even get in the starting lineup, and now all of a sudden people are offended that you can't call him a bucket because he's never even averaged 20 points in a season.
You're telling me that this kid never played in hostile environments when he went to Kentucky?
one year in Kentucky where they made it to like the Sweet 16. So congratulations.
And that team that the Tyler Hero team that was at Kentucky didn't have the expectations of like an AD team or even a John Wall team. Kentucky's been down a couple of years, so nobody really even watched a lot of Kentucky. Kentucky wasn't the centerpiece that they normally are. He's in a right situation. The kid can play, obviously. Right? He's in the NBA. The kid can play, but he's in a right situation for a team that can use his skills. And that's all. They spread the floor out. They let Jimmy do whatever he wants, and then he shoot threes.
He's good, man. He's good, man. If you watch the playoffs, he's had some games where he's gone off.
Yeah, he's a nice player. That's it.
He's good. He's good.
Listen, nobody can be successful in pro sports unless you're put in a right situation.
Agreed.
So it's not against him. It's like a good thing he's in that situation.
But there are situations that help out players more than others.
Hey,
and he ran NFL
to bring it back to a team that matters and is relevant in the NBA, the Sixers had the #1 home record of the entire NBA ever. Best home record ever in NBA history this year. So they got screwed not having home field advantage in the playoffs.
Agreed. But
it's a huge deal. It's a huge.
Nice segue there, by the way, guys. You got a new coach. How you feeling about it?
Thank you, sir. I'll tell you, to be honest, man, I've talked to some of you guys. I really don't know if I like the hire that much. I mean, I like Doc Rivers as a person, as a coach, but he had 2 different all-star teams on the Clippers and couldn't win with either one of them. And I think, in my opinion, that Boston team might have won in spite of him because Kevin Garnett was fucking out of this world at that point. He was one of the top 5 players in the league. Ray Allen's Ray Allen. And Paul Pierce was on that team. Rondo was on that team.
Man,
that team might have just won in spite of him.
Yeah. That team was stacked.
They were bonded in their hatred of LeBron. Like, that team might have just won. It might have not necessarily been Doc Rivers. And let me reaffirm, anybody's better than Brett Brown. I've been trying to get this guy fired for like 3-4 years. So I'm excited about them firing Brett Brown. But I told you, man, I wanted Stan Van Gundy, somebody who can coach big men.
Yeah, either Van Gundy would have been good for you. Jeff would have been good for you as well.
Joe,
What do you think about Doc Rivers?
I mean, the last time he was in the East, he did well. So I'm trying to think of the positive because I'm kind of with the whole Getz thing. I'm like, I don't know. He's kind of, has he made the teams around him better?
I'll say one thing about Doc Rivers, and Getz sent me, well, it wasn't really me, with a little headline the other day. He said, call me Glenn, because there's only one Doc in Philadelphia. He gets a point for that. Because right there, the fan base is going to be like,
Amen.
I knows our history.
Amen. Respect.
Yeah. So he gets the point for that. Now, on the
At
court,
least he gets it.
Yeah, he understands. I don't know about it. You gotta move one of those stars. Either Embiid or Simmons.
No, they don't.
Go.
No, they don't. They have a 68% winning percentage when the two of them play together. You don't have to move either one. Also, the problem is supposedly they call him, players coach, which can mean a lot of things. But supposedly with Doc Rivers, it means that he just lets the stars do whatever they want, whether that was Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, or this year Kawhi and PG. If they want to practice hard that day, they practice hard that day. If they want to chill, they chill. He lets them do whatever they want. And with Simmons and Embiid, who I feel kind of need an iron fist, I don't really like that at all.
Agreed. Sage, do you prefer a player's coach? You wanted somebody to, no homo here, ride you? Or what did you? What kind of coaching did you prefer?
I never really had a player's coach. I always had coaches that would ride me, and they were dicks. I went to school in the South.
Yeah. Didn't you have an asshole that one of the coaches, his son was on the team and he got to play because even though he sucked?
Yeah, but then he went like 0 for 32, and then I got to play. Nice. I think he struck out like 16 times.
Joe, I think we have a perfect transition now into the positive part of Miami that I'm on wax claiming in the preseason before the baseball season started that the Miami Marlins were going to be the surprise of Major League Baseball and make the playoffs. And they didn't just make the playoffs. They went to the second round because everywhere Jeter goes, he knows how to win.
So,
we can't talk about the Marlins. We can't talk about the Marlins until Joel actually watches a Marlins game.
I watched a couple innings here, but we can't start Marlins talk until Guess. Go ahead and say it.
2 minutes of Marlins talk.
Yeah, so we got 2 minutes going here.
Start the clock because I only want it to be 2.
I'm checking my eyes on the clock. Now, they 2 is an important distinction with the Marlins as well because they are down 0-2 in the series that they're in right now.
They got swept. They got swept today.
So they're down 0-3 again.
They're out.
They're out.
They're out of there.
They got swept today.
So the,
Hey, but-
the biracial angel magic wore off before they got. This is the first. Derek Jeter is the first team to lose a playoff series in
I knew that
modern
was coming.
history.
Yeah,
I knew
it
that was
is.
coming.
Under Derek Jeter's watch.
Yeah. So it's a negative that they exceeded expectations and made the playoffs.
We're not worried about expectations. We're worried about results.
And, no offense to Getz here, but the Phillies probably got, quadruple the payroll that they did, and they beat the Phillies in the NL East? Just saying, Jeter knows what he's doing, man. That team's on the way up.
It was a 60-game season.
I was about to say that.
a little
He was the
different.
master of the 60-game season, huh? He destroys that on MLB.
No, I said
Show. Got that down
that's
to
part
60
of it.
games.
No, I said that's part of it. The reason why I like them too is because it's a short season, but that team's on the way up because there was no 50-game, 60-game stretch in the last 5-6 years where they were ever over 500. Like, they were never good.
Yeah, but the last time they got to the playoffs, it was a championship involved. Not this time. Thanks, Jeter. And that's been. Yes. You missed your mark, I guess. Yeah, no, it's 2 minutes to pass. I need my theme song.
You wanted me to sing it again?
Knock it out.
I thought that was the lead into the segment.
All right, fine. We're moving on. So the Titans, speaking of things that are not going well, like Jeter's time in Miami, the Titans not following protocol and got caught on it. Belichick is going, if you're going to cheat, at least do it right. So they got caught cheating, practicing when they weren't supposed to when they had people sick. What should happen to them?
The players
What
should
did he
get
do?
fined first and
What
foremost.
did he do?
Yeah, they were practicing on their own.
Yeah, they had the corona outbreak, and the league told them that they have to stay separated for, X amount of days until tests came back and all of that. And the coaches still got together and practiced. Still got the players to play all the players together and practice. So
They should
now,
have to give their first-round pick to the Eagles.
They should get fined for sure. All those players should get fined.
They're talking about
And,
making them forfeit games, but that screws up fantasy. I don't think that's going to happen.
And Stephon Gilmore walked up on Pat Mahomes after the game the other night and hugged him and shit. Was talking right in his face.
And he's
then
negative.
tested
by the way.
positive next. Did he test negative now?
Mahomes
He tested positive
negative.
yesterday. Well, Mahomes tested negative. Gilmore tested positive for
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Rona.
Gilmore definitely had it.
Mm-hmm. Gilmore had it, but Mahomes tested negative.
You got to be smart about this shit, man. The NFL put protocols in place. If they ask a team to do something, at least try to follow it. They're literally talking about making them forfeit games. They may take draft picks from them, and they're already
absolutely.
finding teams,
Absolutely.
$250,000 a time for not wearing their shit on the sideline.
But they got to find those players individually. They've been finding coaches and teams for the mask stuff, but they got all those players in Tennessee should get fined because
coaches
they're
are there
putting
too.
the season
It
at
wasn't
jeopardy
just
for
players.
everybody
They're
else.
even making the coaches in the box and the fucking owners up in the stands wear masks.
And see, what I don't get is that Tennessee's actually a contender in the AFC this year. They're not just they're actually playing for something, but they're acting like they don't give a shit. Like if it was a Jets players who have nothing to play for, that's something different. These guys actually have a squad. I've been completely wrong about Tannehill this year. He's completely outplayed everything I thought he was going to do.
If I was playing for the Jets, I would try to catch the Rona.
Exactly.
Real talk. Or
Exactly.
Atlanta. I'd be trying to give the Rona to Dan Quinn if I was in Atlanta. Every time I walk past him, be like, yo, hey, Quinn.
Yeah, for real.
Where's the Dan Quinn watch at? Do we have any insider Twitter information?
Dan Quinn.
What does incarcerated Bob think about this?
No, incarcerated Bob saying that Lincoln Riley or Eric Bieniemy is going to be in New York, in Atlanta next year.
That's great.
For
But
those
you
who
still
don't know,
fired a guy now.
For those who don't know, Incarcerated Bob is one of the great Twitter feeds. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please do. Bob, come on the show, even if you want to pixelate your face. But he always has insider stuff.
He's always got the scoop, man.
Always got
Always.
a lot
I
of
laughed
times
at
faster
I
than
laughed at
Schefter.
the Twitter shit for a long time, but incarcerated Bob is always on the money. Come on the
Incarcerated
program,
Bob's on
Bob.
the truth. He's a professional gambler too. He puts out gambling tips every Saturday and Sunday for college and NFL games.
Yeah.
But Atlanta, Quinn should have been gone a year ago when they started out 2-4.
Even if you're going to bring in Lincoln Riley next year, you could still do that next year if you fire the fucking coach right now.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I wanted him gone last year.
Dude, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones only have so many years. Why waste this one? Because it's obvious that Quinn is a fucking joke.
He is Monday through Friday, and even Saturday, I'll give you, an excellent coach. He game plans great. They've never, ever been outplayed in the first quarter, first half. But then they go into the locker room at halftime, and I don't know if he takes a roofie or what, but he forgets how to fucking coach at halftime. It's horrible, dude. He's never recovered from the Super Bowl collapse. You should have overridden friggin' Shanahan's call to not run the ball in the Super Bowl. Dan Quinn's got to go. It's time to go. He's got to go, and Gates has got to go. I've been like McCarthy hiring to begin with. We're going through all of our coaches here. And Peterson, how you feeling about him?
I have no clue what you just said because your audio is so fucked up.
You get a lot of distortion, Joe, when you're talking.
I'm talking about coaches right now.
I think we need to get
in Philly.
We need to get like some type of psychiatrist or therapist on the show because Dan Quinn might have like PTSD from the Super Bowl. He might go into halftime with a lead and like freeze up.
Yeah, I mean that could be. Yeah, I mean, I think in the jet with Adam Gase, you got to blame Peyton Manning for that. That's the only thing I can come up with. He's the one who called the owner last minute and told him to hire Gase when they wanted Matt Rule. The owner was about ready to hire Matt Rule, and Peyton Manning makes a call and says, "Hey, you got to hire this guy."
And Matt Rule's looking like a good hire.
Yeah, of course, because he didn't go to the Jets, of course.
And with your boy Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know, dude. Quinn's got to go. Coaching is the NFL, football in general, is the sport where coaching matters the most. If there's five players on a basketball court, you can, ISO one dude, put everybody on the other side and let him go to work. Maybe he can beat his guy. But in football, all 11 guys got to be on the same page for every play or bad shit happens. And Quinn definitely's lost the locker room. There's no way. People there. Guys are walking past him on the sidelines. People are tapping their helmets to come out of games left and right.
I'm telling you, after the onside kick in Dallas, Julio was standing right next to him, firing questions at him and looking at him like, "Yeah, bitch." Like at that point, you lost the team.
That's coaching. If all of your players are standing around watching this ball roll and they don't know that as a receiving team, you can touch the ball at any point, they're fucking kicking it to you. And even if it was a penalty, if you touch it at 7 yards and they have to re-kick it, that's better than them getting an onside kick. Grab the fucking ball. We have one in, though.
That's lack of preparation.
That was one little tiny instance. Quinn got to go. Quinn got to go, and Dimitroff has to go as well. If you're going to change the coach, might as well change the GM, bring everything brand new.
You sound like
take a break. You need to fix that.
Yeah, we got
to take a break. 5 minutes. I'm going to take a break from technical difficulties. Back in just a minute. CrackBacks. I'm going to send the invite out in a minute. All right, we're back. You can hear me better now?
Everything fixed?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Let's play America's favorite game. Let's see how long it takes H to log on. You should have done that when the sound was all digitized. That would have been the digital Wookiee.
Let me give you an example of how frustrated I am right now. They just showed us that here. In the Yankees-Rays series, the 8-9 hitters have 6 hits, 3 home runs, and 9 RBIs. The fucking worst hitters on the team are fucking killing us. But we're up 2-0, but it's still really early in the game. It's third inning. And this is a must-win because we're down 2-1.
We got about 20 minutes till Nick Foles and Tom Brady are playing each other.
Exactly. So we're going to get
Y'all remember the last time that happened?
I just saw on Twitter just a second ago. It says this is the first game where father and son are playing quarterback against each other because Nick Foles is Tom Brady's daddy.
Who's your daddy?
They were saying on NFL Live that Tom Brady still thinks about that. He has not forgotten that loss to Nick Foles.
He's got shell shock. He's got shell
but
shock.
The only other time he's ever lost in the Super Bowl, you can't get mad at Eli because getting mad at special needs people is not a good look. So he has to get mad at Foles. You can't get mad at Eli. Plus, Eli, those are the 2 best games that Eli's played. Actually, I can't even say that. The 2 best throws Eli's ever made. That one in Manningham down the sideline.
That's the best.
That was sick.
That's the best throw that Eli Manning's ever thrown in his entire life.
So you don't think the one off the guy's helmet in the other Super Bowl?
No, that was luck.
Was luck, man.
That was luck.
Exactly. Exactly. It was bullshit.
That was a Rex Grossman throw. He threw that straight up in the air, and just David Tyree ended up squeezing it against his helmet. I was rooting. That's the only Super Bowl I have ever rooted for the New England Patriots, and I only wanted to win it so Mercury Morris couldn't say that he's the only undefeated team in the history of football.
I know.
Don't call me when they're in my neighborhood.
Oh, God, stop it. I hate that.
Call me when they're on my block.
You should have said, call me when they're on my cell block, considering that man spent some time in the Bing for traffic in, Columbia's finest.
I wanted the Patriots to win that Super Bowl because Marlon was going, this is the manager's side. This is the manager's side of the table over here.
You got
But I
to go
will
back
say
to the
that-
audio days. Hold on one second, Enrique. We got to go back to the audio days because that was the first episode. We didn't have video quite then. But we learned about Marlon. He was the dumbest human being, or one of the dumbest human beings we have ever met in our entire life. We also named the award for the dumbest thing of the week after Dwayne Haskins. He won his own award this week. Dwayne Haskins just got benched.
Are we recording this already?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
we are
yeah.
100% recording.
All right.
He got benched.
Fuck you, Haskins.
He got benched for Kyle Allen.
Hey, he
That's
won some
not good.
games with Rivera, though. Rivera likes him because when last year when Newton was out, they started
Carolina.
off pretty hot.
He
Remember
threw 4
Kyle
picks against the Falcons. That's how bad Kyle Allen is.
Yeah, no,
Last
he's
year,
bad.
he threw 4 picks against the Falcons.
Yeah, no, he's
And
bad.
not only did they drop Haskins, he's not just on second string. He's third string. Alex
Yeah.
Smith has been elevated to backup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So that seems on the surface that they're giving up on Haskins.
so that means
remember-
homies on the practice squad then.
Pretty
We
much.
both
He's-
remember when Rivera took over, and we talked about it on CrackBacks when he talked about the quarterback situation, and he said in a very
Saints, you
nice
hopping
way
in?
that Haskins is dumb and he can't grasp a playbook. He said that in just a very nice way. We interpret it as Haskins is dumb as shit, and we can't win with this guy.
It's true though. I mean, they won the first week in spite of him. Chase Young, had a nice opening. And
It was their D line. It wasn't
100%.
100%.
Between Young and Sweat. I mean, they have on the defensive side of the ball. They're not bad.
They're
to
not
be honest
bad.
Yeah,
with
man.
you,
And Kerrigan, too.
other than the quarterback, they're
Kerrigan
really not. They're not that hard. They're not that bad.
and Jonathan Allen. Their D line is sick, man. They got
Yeah.
Sweat,
They're
Chase
nasty.
Young, Kerrigan, Jonathan Allen.
And even on offense, I mean, McLaurin is decent. The running back started beating his girlfriend, so they cut him. But
And he was nice. I liked him coming out of LSU, man. That's
Who, Geis?
Geis was
Yeah.
nice coming out of LSU.
He hasn't caught on at all, huh? Nobody picked him
Nobody
up.
wants him.
No.
There must be more to the story that we don't know about.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Because
he's
he's
getting
too
the Ray
talented.
Rice treatment. And Ray Rice only got that treatment because we had it on video.
Yeah.
That's like the NBA, NFL. Like, you don't come back from beating your girl.
Well, they're taking a harder line stance now.
You could do drugs. You could do steroids. You could do cocaine. Just don't hit your girl. That's how the NFL. The NFL draws a clear line on that.
And the CFL won't take guys if the NFL kicks them out for violence. So,
Really?
I didn't know.
Yeah, they won't take them. They almost
Because he
didn't
would go
want
up
to
there. He would go up there and be an MVP.
What about
Absolutely.
the
we thought
Rock's
Ricky
new
would have done
football
that
league?
too, but Ricky didn't care. I think when he was on the Argonauts, Ricky just was up there just because he wanted to stay in shape, I guess.
But what about the Rock's new football league? Can guys play on that one?
Well, we're a year away from that. That's 2022. They're taking a full year to get everything set up, and
Why?
there's rumors that they are going to lower the age to be in the league. That they want to make it almost
18.
like a minor league. That if you're you had a sick freshman year at Ohio State and you want to start getting paid, you can come to the XFL for a year or two, and then go to the NFL after. That's one of the rumors. The other one, is that they're obviously not going to play at the same time as the NFL. They do want to make it look like it's some sort of developmental league, but 2022
Hey,
is
man,
taking a full year.
I'm only going to care if they put a team in Fort Lauderdale and I can drive down the street and watch the games. That's the only way I care. Even if they put a team in Philly, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, use the
It's
strikers.
hard.
Strikers
It's hard
stadium.
for a second football league.
Which is now the Inter Miami FC Stadium.
They've tried with football leagues
Lockhart.
before. Well, we'll say you're the only one that's old enough really to remember the heydays of the USFL. If you want to go a little further back, you and Al Davis were together forming the AFL.
You just had your 25th birthday, didn't you?
Lamar Hunt.
they've had second leagues before, but to make it different, if they were going to make that a developmental league and college players can come in early, that may be their one way of making it stick. Because you're not getting a full-on professional league. The same way with the NBA did the D League, and it's now the G League now. You can't compete against the NFL. You got to find a way to kind of integrate yourself with them.
I just think in football that's a bad move because obviously in the XFL there's also going to be guys that get cut from the NFL that are older guys that are more physically built men, and if you're bringing in 18, 19-year-old kids, man, they're just going to get broke.
But it's going to be the same way like the NBA. Not everybody's ready. There are some guys, at least size-wise,
Yeah, like a
could-
Robert
could have played
Kemp.
right away.
Like Adrian Peterson, he could have walked right into the NFL
Clowney.
and played out of high school.
Even though he sucked, Trent Richardson looked like a guy that could walk into the NFL at 18. He
Well,
was
Trent
swole as
Richardson would have
shit.
put up numbers in the XFL, and
Yeah.
probably somebody would have paid him again in the NFL.
He's too slow. He'd be late for all the games.
Yeah, he is too slow. Dude, he looks like an action figure, but he can't hit the hole. If you don't have that first burst,
That's
that
what
first
she
step,
said.
You're not gonna make it. Exactly. I was waiting for somebody to get that. That was a long delay on that one. But the
I'm
XFL,
emotional, man. I just finished a 9-season run of The Office. I watched the whole entire series.
Nice. Did
I'm
you stop
emotional.
before the Kevin Spacey episodes, or did you go all the way through?
There were no Kevin Spacey episodes.
No, he came on at the very, very end. Who was it? No, it wasn't.
You're talking about Spader?
James
Talking about James Spader? Yeah,
Yeah.
Spader was hilarious.
Ed Helms is the only time I didn't love him was at the end of The Office. He was great in the middle.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. In the middle of The Office, when he first came on, I thought he was hilarious.
Great.
I was
Gotta get corny
disappointed in Will Ferrell, not his best work.
Yeah, they were scrambling at that point, though. They didn't know Steve Carell was going to leave, and then he did leave, and they thought they really should have ended the show when Carell went. It was still okay after, but The Office was amazing with Steve Carell on it.
Actually, I heard he didn't want to leave. He mentioned something about it, and the producers just decided to move on without him. That was the big.
Really? I thought he left to do movies because he did 40-year-old Virgin right around that time.
He mentioned something, and then they decided, just in case they lost him, that they would try to move on without him.
That's weak.
That is weak.
He was the show. All the characters are great. Schroot's fantastic. All of them are great. But
there's not an actor that can make uncomfortable look like. I mean, as good as he does, it's always uncomfortable situations. Like he's amazing
and hilarious. I think Dwight K. Schrute is the best television character of all time.
The Beach Farmer. I love Schrute.
Yeah, man.
All those characters are great though. Creed's a bit character, and every time he comes on the screen, I crack up. They were talking about that the other day. I asked them if they could do The Office again in 2020, and there's no way in hell. There was so many things that would have gotten them canceled.
Oh, yeah.
You just watched all of them. There was gay jokes flying left and right. There were fat
Oh, yeah,
jokes
they mess
flying
with the
left
gay
and
dude
right.
every episode.
Yeah, race jokes.
The cancel culture would have. That show would have lasted a season.
Oh, yeah.
That show would have absolutely it wouldn't have lasted. But listen, man, we got 8 minutes before kickoff. So anybody want to say what surprised them for the first quarter of the season?
Nick
Who you think's going to
Foles!
continue? Well, Nick Foles, I want to say one thing. Again, everyone knows I'm a Falcons fan. Fuck Dan Quinn. But the Falcons were beating the Bears with Trubisky in there. We have a couple of friends of ours that are Bears fans. They brought in Nick Foles.
I wouldn't call them
17
friends.
points. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, acquaintance, whatever. I texted him. I was like, yo, we just lost this football game. He goes, you're crazy. You're up 17. You're at home. I'm like, we just lost this football game because we were only winning because Trubisky is horrible, not because the Falcons are beating the Bears. Nick Foles comes in. The rest is history. Dan Quinn needs to get the fuck out of here.
Because that's what Nick Foles does, son. Ain't got nothing to do with Dan
relief
Quinn.
pitcher. He's a relief pitcher. He's the ultimate relief pitcher.
Only problem is he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So that's the one of that. Anybody got any parting notes here? I actually do.
I got no. I have one.
We're
gonna cut this
today. We're gonna cut the show already.
Well,
yes,
no, we're stopping for kickoff. We got 6 minutes to kick off.
The Fighting Camels.
What I want to mention is what I had talked about in the preseason that is happening, and that's Aaron Rodgers' Scorched Earth Tour. He's won 2 division games, one at New Orleans. His wide receiver one has been available for not even a full game. Over 13 touchdowns, 0 picks, 1,200 yards. So he's basically on pace to throw like 50 touchdowns, no picks, and like almost 5,000 yards.
Those numbers
with
are
no
inflated.
receivers.
He played Atlanta. Those numbers are inflated.
So did Russell Wilson, though. So
exactly. His numbers are inflated, too.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's on pace to throw 60.
But I think that the back half of the schedule favors Aaron Rodgers more. He's got some easy games in that back half.
This guy always knows the strength of schedule.
They play the Lions twice, dude. The NFC West got some good defenses. He gets to play the Lions. He gets to play the Vikings defense that has nobody anymore.
You're just hating on Russell Wilson because Jamal Adams went to the Seattle Seahawks, and you don't want the Seahawks to do anything. because Adams is winning games and you have Adam Gase. I understand it, dude. I hate my football team
Yeah,
too.
but if they were winning because of Jamal, that's different. But they're not winning because of Jamal. The defense hasn't been that good. Russell Wilson's just lighting it up.
But he was going off. Jamal Adams himself was going off.
He was
Yeah, he's a
was
good
wrecking
player.
shop in Atlanta.
But I think right
said
now
he's
he
a good
leads
player.
the team. He leads the team in sacks and picks.
He should. He's a good player. But that didn't do anything for the Jets because the Jets don't have any pieces around him.
Well,
The
the
Seahawks
rest
have a
of the
pass.
team was complete garbage. You can't fault
But
him
you're trying
for
to act
that.
like their defense ain't good, but Jamal Adams is going off.
Are all New York teams garbage right now?
Yep. I think it's, we're
up
0-8.
maybe.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's people from Buffalo. Do you count them as New York? Do you count them as Canada?
Toronto.
No.
But New
No.
York football is 0-8 with 7 offensive touchdowns this year.
Buffalo's a suburb of Toronto.
Yeah, agreed.
Since you were saying something about the Camels,
Yeah. Starting pitcher for the Rays was a fighting camel.
Which one?
Shit, I already forgot his name. He pitched 2 innings and
Nice
got
shout out,
pulled.
Sage.
He walked like 3 people and gave up a home run. The voice.
Oh, in the game today. Okay.
I think it's Thompson.
I know we're only 4 games in, but who's getting Trevor Lawrence?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
I still say it's going to be Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to end up with the worst record.
The
Giants are looking pretty bad. The Giants are
You're
looking.
going to get him and play him at safety.
Yeah,
my
but the
God.
Giants get to play the Redskins twice, so they'll win one game there for sure.
Is Gettleman going to take him though? I mean, he drafted Danny Dimes. Is he good? Is he having enough?
I don't think he would because that was like his coup. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wanted Daniel Jones the whole time."
I mean,
I don't think he's going to take another quarterback.
There's a ton of draft picks for him.
I don't think it makes sense for the Jets or the Giants to take Lawrence because there's way too many holes in the roster. You're setting the
If
guy
you
up to
have
fail.
the first pick,
Plus,
wants
you
to
could
take Trevor Lawrence?
get a king's ransom. You could get
Yeah.
a ton of picks.
and then you accelerate that rebuild even quicker. Only the
if you're
smart
the
team.
Jets and you get the first pick, you take Trevor Lawrence
Yep.
and you trade Sam Darnold.
No, I'm not with that. Because I also think I also think the jury's still out on Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor
Jerry.
Lawrence is not Andrew Luck. He's
Jerry.
not that type of prospect.
What Gary are you listening to?
I don't know what you're watching. If Atlanta gets the first pick,
40.
listen to me, Arthur Banks.
Run like
If
a deer.
Atlanta gets the first pick, take Trevor Lawrence. And as much as I love Matt Ryan, send him somewhere else. Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. The guy came in as a freshman, was slinging all over the place.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he can't solve all the Jets'
As a-
problems. One player
as a
can't
true-
solve all the Jets' problems.
As a true freshman, he would have been the number 1 pick in the draft with other great quarterbacks in the draft.
Is Kansas City the only team that wouldn't take a quarterback? Wouldn't take him?
And if Kansas City has the first pick, you take the first. You still take him, and you trade him somewhere. You're obviously not. You're gonna keep Mahomes because he's Mahomes. But if you have the first pick and Trevor Lawrence is there, you take Trevor Lawrence. His guess is 100% right. You'll get a king's ransom back for him.
Yeah, you trade the pick.
Yeah, you trade the pick.
Whoever's on the clock, and
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is there, you take Trevor Lawrence. If it's the Jets, you take Trevor Lawrence and you send Sam Darnold to Jacksonville.
I mean, if we can get something for Sam Darnold, that's different. But I think Sam Darnold's stock is too low where Trevor Lawrence will not play.
So wait.
He will not play well.
You're saying Sam Darnold's stock is too low, but you would still keep him over Trevor Lawrence? That
Yeah.
makes 0 sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense because
That
there's
makes no
literally
sense.
there's no guards to protect him. There's only one good left tackle. The right tackle that we signed from Seattle is actually the second worst
You
tackle.
said Sam Darnold's stock.
Is
Yes.
Gase the only one that can ruin Trevor Lawrence?
And then Gase can.
That's a solid fucking
I'm
point.
telling you, the Jets are not a
That's an
situation
amazing
where a
point.
quarterback. The Jets are just not in a situation where any quarterback, I don't give a shit who you are, is going to come in and be successful. So they're just going to ruin his career. The Jets need to build the team the right way and then bring the quarterback like
Morty!
KC did. Like KC
Trevor
did.
Lawrence gets.
But if
Patrick Mahomes came in.
you take Lawrence, you trade Darnold. You'll get something for Darnold. Darnold actually looked good last week.
I agree.
You will get something for Darnold because every NFL coach thinks they can fix a quarterback.
But that's different. That's different.
You take Lawrence. And to answer your question, Sage, he's the only active coach, Adam Gase, that could screw up Trevor Lawrence. Bill O'Brien just got fired.
Bill O'Brien was a bad GM, not a bad coach.
See you, Bill O'Brien.
He's a shit coach too, man.
He won.
They squeak into
They had so much talent, and he could never win a
squeak
playoff
into the
game.
playoffs every year in a
Yeah.
shit division. They play Jacksonville twice every year. Tennessee only got good recently. Indianapolis, how long? Andrew Luck's been gone, what? This is the third year that Luck's been gone. he's had a really quote unquote easy run.
So has Bill Belichick.
No, absolutely. But Bill Belichick got to the
worst
playoffs.
division
What?
for the past 15 years.
But he gets to the playoffs and wins. O'Brien got to the playoffs and didn't win, and then he traded away a top
Couldn't
three
win shit.
He was just
for an old running back. He's
Couldn't
terrible.
win shit. Got to the playoffs, couldn't win shit. With DeAndre Hopkins, with Clowney, with J.J. Watt, couldn't win shit.
Nobody on that Belichick tree has
When
and coached well.
When are the Falcons going to trade Julio Jones to the Eagles?
Hey, don't tell Dolphins fans that they think Brian Flores is coach of the year and the next GOAT coach ever.
Flores is a good coach. There are trade rumors, but it's not to Philly.
Let's get it going. Let's make it happen.
It's to New England.
But
Let
me ask you a question.
That's disgusting.
Wait,
I agree.
So, and I really want, and this is subjective. I'm not trying to.
Cam Newton throwing to Julio Jones is blasphemous.
I don't want to clown the Dolphins. This is very objective. So Brian Flores actually has the same record, if actually one game worse than Adam Gase since they both got there last year. But Adam Gase is how they have a terrible roster as well too.
Flores went in there. Flores took over a 1-15 team. They won one game that year, and then
and we were 4-12.
Last year nobody thought they were going to do anything, and they actually won a few games. Flores is a good coach. Flores is fighting an uphill battle. His best wide receiver is always hurt. Devontae Parker's hurt right now. They drafted their quarterback. They traded away the running back. The defense is okay. Gase is the problem in New York. Flores isn't the problem in Miami. They'll be all right with Flores. You have to get rid of Gase.
Oh yeah, I agree. I don't get this coronation of Flores as a great coach. I don't see it.
But most people thought.
I don't think anybody said great coach. I think he's just. We think he's a good coach. We think he's a good coach. I know that the Eagles were trying to get a playoff spot last year and went into Miami and got beat by a fucking joke team. So he's a good coach to me.
Go ahead, Sage.
No, I was just saying the Jets. They were projected to win six, like at least 6 games this year. Like
they were supposed to contend for the division.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Buffalo came out of nowhere because Josh Allen's actually throwing a semi-accurate deep ball, and Stephon Diggs is a major upgraded wide receiver for them. Running backs have been playing pretty well between Singletary and the rookie they got.
Zach Moss. Zach Moss,
yeah. But
he's nice.
The Jets were.
That's what happens when you get your fucking quarterback a receiver, man. Stephon Diggs goes to Buffalo. This guy's 70% now.
And also continuity.
In an Eagles uniform.
Can the Eagles go out and get Julio Jones, please? We didn't even try to trade for DeAndre Hopkins. We didn't even try to get Diggs. We fucking didn't try to get CeeDee Lamb in the draft. I'm pissed, man.
Your best wide receiver would be fourth string on Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Same with the Jets. We have no wide receivers. The guy we drafted still hasn't even seen the field yet.
When is Mims coming back?
He's still on IR, so they don't know.
He said in the paper he's not coming back till Gase is gone. I can't.
That makes sense. I would do the same.
I would do the same thing.
I can't confirm that, but I'm going to channel Mims here for a second. I believe the words were "fuck Adam Gase."
Because the coach that I want, going back to the Tennessee thing, I think his name is Arthur Smith, the Titans OC. If he can make Tannehill look like that, I think he's a really good coach.
You can have Dan Quinn.
I'm sure our owner likes him.
I loved that guy so much 2 years ago, and now I would step over him if he was in a ditch. The guy's ruined. He is wasting Julio Jones and Matt Ryan's.
Could you step over him if he was in a ditch?
Wow.
My feet are surgically repaired, sir. You're damn right. I'll be step over.
I want to go back to something earlier in the program. Joel, you said when guys miss shots in the NBA with no crowd and then run back. Sage tells me that you would miss a lot of shots in the gym and never run back on defense.
Well, no one loves to play defense. That's number one.
No defense.
There's a couple of things with that. I always got stuck on the other tallest guy. So we had a dude we used to work with here.
You're a big dude.
Quick story back from back in the day, going to play basketball outside of the Nortel courts. We had a dude we used to work with named Reggie, 6'10" white dude.
Looked like Dahmer.
Yeah, two left feet.
Could barely dunk.
2 left feet, couldn't move, but he's 6'10", so just leaning on you is if he would get tired. I had to guard Zach, all right? So I was not happy about running back on defense. Secondly, all y'all can kiss my ass. I can swap. I'm rusty now because I'm old.
Has anyone ever said the jump shot is wet besides you?
Now, guess, you have known all of us for a long time. All of our friends are haters. Every single one of them. We are all haters. So
This
the
is very
fact that
true.
no one is going to corroborate my story of swappage is not.
This is very true.
Is not any.
Scotty ever say you can shoot?
What happened?
Does Scotty ever say you can shoot?
Scott, this was Scott. If we pulled Scott right now, Scott would say, if I shot the ball and the first one went in, he knew no defense was being played. That's all he would say. if I hit it, I'm leaving it up. I'm talking shit, and then I'll run. But I'll go back on defense just to get a rebound. I just want to bang with fucking Reggie. Quick story about Reggie, and then we got to go because we're about to have kickoff here in a couple of minutes.
They're already playing.
Are they? All right. So we don't have to say about Reggie because it does have football related, and it does have something to do with Tampa. Tampa and Oakland played in the Super Bowl 2002, and they got a meaningless pick six at the end of the game from Dexter Jackson, I believe his name was. Well,
Yes.
The fourth quarter box from the Super Bowl boxes from 6'10" Reggie to me. It was a $500 box. The next
Oh, nice.
day, he walks up to me and he goes, "Yo, man, we really should split. We should split. We should split that fourth quarter box." I was like,
What?
I was, split it for what?
No, he looked like Dauber. You probably should have.
Yeah, he goes,
Your head in the refrigerator.
it was mine. It was mine until that interception didn't mean anything. The game was over already. We should split that. Nah, Reggie, kiss my ass.
Yeah. Apparently, you don't know how boxes work.
No.
We don't roll like that, homie. And we about to go to the football game. CrackBacks. We'll see you next week.
Peace.